Well, hello, everyone. My name is Darcy Fisher. And on this edition of Ask Our Experts from Mainstay Supportive Housing, we're going to be talking about a service offered through the MBTA known as the Ride. So, joining us today for this profile is Meghann Ackerman. And Meghann joins us as the Deputy Director of Communications for the Ride. Meghann, thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Thanks for inviting us in, Darcy. This
Yeah,
is a great
certainly.
opportunity to share some information about the ride.
We agree. So let's get started with the obvious question, right? What is the ride for people that don't know?
Great question, and it's something a lot of folks don't know. So the ride is a mode of public transportation. It's part of the MBTA, and it's what's known as paratransit. So that's a form of public transportation for people whose disability prevents them from being able to use the subway or buses independently. The ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, mandated that all transportation authorities like the MBTA have a paratransit service. And we're proud to say that the ride actually started prior to that in 1977.
Awesome. Well, who's eligible to use the ride?
Yep. So the ride is for anyone whose disability prevents them from using the subway or bus. And that can be any type of disability. It can be a physical disability, something related to mobility. It can also be a cognitive disability or a mental health disability. So if someone has a disability that is making it difficult for them to use the bus and trolleys, the ride might be right for them. There's an
Mhm.
eligibility process that customers go through at our mobility center. And what that process is looks a little bit different for everyone based on the disability that they're reporting, but it might
Mhm.
include a little assessment of their physical skills to be able to do things like walk to a bus stop, step up onto a bus.
Mhm.
It may include some evaluation around other skills you might need to use to take public transit, like remembering multi-step directions, being able to navigate after you're given directions.
Mhm.
And we may also request some information from a medical provider if that makes sense based on the disability. Um,
Understood. Yeah.
yeah, so once people go through the eligibility process, there are three possible determinations they can get. One is that they're not eligible. It's been determined that they're able to take public transit independently. Another is conditional, which means that it's been determined they can use other forms of public transportation sometimes, but there are some trips where they may need to take the ride. And what that looks like, again, can vary by disability. But for example, if someone is only able to walk 4 blocks,
Mhm.
they might be able to use the ride if they would need to walk more than 4 blocks to get to the bus stop or the train station. But trips where they don't have to walk that far, they would take on other forms of public transportation. Um, if folks are found either not eligible or conditional, they do have the right to appeal that and go through the process and provide any additional information that might affect that decision. And then finally, someone might be found unconditionally eligible, meaning they can take the ride for any and all trips that they would like to. Regardless of whether someone is conditional or unconditional, they are more than welcome to take the subway and bus if it is accessible to them for certain trips, or if they, are maybe traveling with a family member or a friend that makes it more accessible to them, that will not affect their use of the ride.
Very good. So, in terms of the process of scheduling, of paying, how does that work?
Yeah. So when someone gets their ride eligibility, we have an account set up for them. They get a ride ID number. And the first thing that they're going to want to do is add funds to their account. The way their ride
Mhm.
works is you put some money in an account, kind of like you would on a Charlie card, and the fare gets pulled out of that. And so folks have options for the ways they can do that. They can do it online or through our app. There's a phone number they can call and use a credit or debit card. People can also mail in checks or money orders or visit the Charlie Service Center if they'd like to pay in cash or do an in-person transaction. So once there are some funds on your account, you can start scheduling your trips. And again, with that, we have a few options. You can call the Ride Access Center or Track and speak to a reservationist to schedule your trip. You can also book it yourself on our app or website. We do book trips 1 to 5 days in advance, so that's something to keep in mind as you're thinking about where you're going to be traveling. And
Definitely, yeah.
even though the app and website are available 24/7, you do need to have your trips booked by 5 p.m. for the next day. Um, but otherwise, if you're booking a few days out, you can book at any time. And then just kind of plan for what your needs are going to be for the trip. Customers can bring guests with them or a personal care attendant, a PCA.
Mhm.
PCAs travel are not charged a fare when they travel. So if you might need some extra support on your trip, that's an option as well.
All right, awesome. And talk to us about support. What supports does the ride offer for those participants who might need it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the ride provides door-to-door service, which means your driver will pull up at your pickup location, park the vehicle, get out, come up to your door and meet you and walk with you to the vehicle. They can, offer an arm for support if you need to hold on to someone. They can also help you carry a small amount of personal items if they can do it with one hand, and it
Mhm.
weighs less than 15 pounds. So that way they still have that arm free to assist you if you need it.
Right.
They'll walk you to the vehicle if it's one of our vans with a mechanical lift. They'll lower that if you would like to use it and help you get up into the vehicle that way. Once you're in the vehicle, they can assist with seat belts or strapping in your wheelchair if you're using a wheelchair, making sure that's secure. Again, if customers need support sort of beyond that, because the driver's main focus is driving between point A and B and getting you there safely, um, they
Absolutely.
they can bring a PCA again free of charge or a guest who can help them with anything else they might need during their trip.
Excellent. Well, this was extremely informative. I want to thank you all for joining us. And Megan, thanks again.
Thank you, Darcy.
And if our viewers have questions or need more information, you can call us at 617-431-5400 or email us at contact@mainstayliving.org.